What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Believes Crypto Show. Coinbase is saying that, hey guys, the bull run is probably going to continue. Peter Brandt, longtime investor, says, nuh-uh, bro, the bull run is over. Luna Classic price up 250% overall, 1,100% in volume, exploding to over $1 billion in trade volume in a 24-hour period. The SEC has set a December 15 deadline for a privacy roundtable on crypto, and you've got people calling for the bear market. Pro Shares drops their 3x Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP ETF plans after SEC pushback. That is a great thing for crypto. These leveraged ETFs were the reason that the market was being suffocated. Also, Tau is starting to pump again. Zcash is starting to pump, and Curve DAO is pumping again. What is going on in the market? I'm going to break it all down for you. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. Let's get after it. Right after this sweet, awesome, amazing, fully AI generated intro that's, you know what, just watch.
It's your boy Bleeves. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket, that crypto wallet, that bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice.
System reset and profit.
I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
All right, guys. So what we've got going on in this market has been nothing short of stressing. A lot of people are telling you right now, hey guys, the bull market's not going to happen. Hey guys, it's all done. Hey guys, 125, that was it. That's all we're going to get. Why did they say that? Well, they actually have a lot of valid reasons for it. However, those valid reasons, and this is going to be my opinion, guys, I'm not telling you that this bull market is over. I'm not telling you that it's not over. I'm telling you that there are data signals that would tell me and that would tell you that the bull market is over. But those technical indicators are all based on a couple of simple facts. Among them, the 4-year cycle bros who are starting to sell because they believe in the 4-year cycle and they're trying to front run. And then that's it. That's it. That's the only thing. That's all it is. Okay. So let me take you back in time just a few moments to October 10. Wintermute, one of the largest market makers, did a flash crash and absolutely sold off on the market, which spooked everybody. Once that happened, October 10 happens to be one of those ranges between October and November where we seem to get blow off tops. If you look at it historically from the market perspective, we've always seen blow offs happening around that time. A black swan event happens during that period of time. And then guess what? That leads to a continuance of that downside momentum. And that's what we saw on October 10. Wintermute dumped a whole bunch. Now, let's not forget something here. And this is going to be very, very important. Wintermute told anybody who would listen that this was all Binance, that Binance did it. Binance said, no, it was not us. And as a matter of fact, just so you guys know, early on, one of the things that Wintermute said was, yeah, we're probably going to sue Binance, because, But then the evidence came online that not only was Wintermute selling using an AI algorithm, by the way, just remember, the order books, the blockchain does not lie. The order books were being filled with microtransactions coming from the Wintermute wallets. And then all of those transactions happening simultaneously was causing the Binance website to go down for a short period of time. And it was stopping out everybody else's ability to clear their longs and shorts. So Wintermute went in, attacked Binance, shorted the market down, and then, by the way, A few hours before they did all this, they had transferred over $1 billion onto Binance. Why? Because they were buying their own dip. Then they pretended like, hey, it wasn't us, bro. Well, the evidence came out, and then Wintermute changed their tune and said, hey, guys, we were just kidding. We have no intention of suing Binance. That would be silly. Ha, 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 ha. Anyway, the damage was already done to the market. People had seen it. The 4-year cycle bros then decided, yeah, the market might be over right now. I'm probably going to need to sell everything right now and just accumulate down when it goes to $50,000. Which, by the way, that's where they sound in my head. I'm not saying that they are that way. I'm just saying that they act that way. You know what I'm talking about. So anyway, now we have to develop a thesis. Is the bull market here? Are we going to continue? Or is that it? Did we just not get an altcoin season? Are we never going to get an altcoin season? Have we witnessed a fundamental and paradigm shift? Well, listen, let me tell you something. This is going to be my opinion and my opinion only, okay? Without an altcoin season, without the greed, and remember, the entirety of cryptocurrency right now is based upon greed. Now, you might think technological advancement, a change in the paradigm shift of the way that money is transacted across the world, and sure, there's going to be some of the truth to that. But at the end of the day, the cryptocurrency is about greed. The investment here is about greed. And guess what? Greed is entirely predictable. If we didn't get a blow-off altcoin season in which there was a cascade of liquidity coming down from Bitcoin into other altcoins, the market is not done yet. If we have not seen that ringing out of Bitcoin asset, moving down into Ethereum, moving down into Solana, moving down into XRP, and then cascading to the rest of the market, then we are not witnessing greed, and that means that on the highest level of this, we are not done yet. I cannot make it any more specific to you than that. Human psyche, human fundamentals suggest that we are not even close. Now, I'm going to develop that as my thesis and say that we are about to go so much higher. If you disagree, that's fine. That's fine. You're allowed to be wrong. It's your life, bro. But again, if you decided in your wisdom and in your estimation, if you decided that greed suddenly doesn't apply to humans, you, my friend, are not thinking clearly. If you have decided, well, 125 on Bitcoin, that's good enough. That's exactly, that's why are you saying that there's no greed there because we all made a little bit of money off of it? No. Institutions made a ton of money on Bitcoin. Early Bitcoin bros made a ton of money on Bitcoin. The general public, the place where you want to trap people, the way you want to hook people in so that you can bring money in, that never happened. All we saw was institutional increased flows. What we didn't see was that full-on mode where we start trapping people into positions to extract liquidity. That did not happen, not to the level that it has always happened before. There's no way that this is done. Now, let me help you figure that out, and we're going to use Coinbase. Coinbase themselves say December recovery ahead. Coinbase outlines why crypto market may rebound. Coinbase's institutional arm has predicted that crypto market could recover this month after a significant downturn last month. The firm further outlined reasons the market could rebound, including improved liquidity, which is improving by the day, with the Fed ending quantitative tightening. In an X post, Coinbase Institutional stated that the crypto market may be poised for a December recovery as liquidity improves. The firm's research team noted that odds of a Fed rate cut are at new highs, while macro tailwinds are building. Now, what does it look like? What it looks like is this. Liquidity is recovering. The supposed AI bubble has not burst. Short USD trades are attractive at current levels. In October, we teased this positioning reset, anticipating November weakness and a December reversal. This could be the starting line for crypto market momentum to reassert itself. So Coinbase, who, look, All they're doing is trying to weigh the market and see how it goes, in what direction it will go. All they're trying to do is figure out what they're going to be doing, right? And they're sharing it with you as an institutional investor. And guess what? They are incredibly bullish. They think that the odds of a 25 basis point is around 90%, indicating that the Fed is likely to lower rates. This presents a bullish outlook. Quantitative tightening is done. The institutional also stated that the supposed AI bubble hasn't burst and looks like it has room to run, which is another reason they expect the crypto market to recover this month. And we're already seeing signs of it. We're not seeing blow-offs. We're not seeing this absolute a change. We're not stopping on a dime and reversing and going absolutely crazy. We're not there yet, because again, in order for any of this to happen, for me, Bitcoin has to pop. Okay, we need to see a new high from Bitcoin. It does start and end with Bitcoin. Now, they alluded to their prior research note, which said that they anticipated November to be a weak month and then a December reversal. Guess what? It was the worst month on record, second worst month on record for Novembers in the history of Bitcoin. Now, there's another one right here. The Russell 2000 is the biggest indicator for alt season, and it's about to hit a new all-time high. Same cycle, same breakout point. Both Russell 2000 and the alts market cap peaked in November of 2021, marking the cycle top. Both entered a long bear market. Now Russell is retesting its November highs, a key resistance zone. A breakout above these levels confirms the start of a major bull run in 2026. The indicators are telling you that we are not done yet. The major indicators are telling you that we are not done yet. In fact, bull market indicators, none of them have been hit. Now, if you've got somebody out here telling you that those bull market indicators don't mean anything, they're not thinking clearly, okay? They are not thinking clearly. They are locked into a 4-year cycle. And by the way, that doesn't mean that you're not going to make a bunch of money. For example, let me give you Dr. Profit. I say his name all the time, guys. If you haven't followed him, you probably give him a follow. But the guy knows the direction of the market. He doesn't know the bottom. He doesn't know the top. He's making guesses. He's giving you ranges. And guess what? He's pretty accurate. It's very difficult. Like, I can stand here today and tell you from 115 to 125,000, he was entering shorts. Okay? Guess what? The market's sitting at around 90,000 right now. He was right. And it went down to 80,000. Now, he said it was going to go down to 75,000, then it was going to go down to 60,000, and we haven't seen that yet. That doesn't mean that we won't see it. Doesn't mean that I'm not completely wrong and that he's 100% right that the bull market is over. But it does mean, however, that if you're following him, he's got a good idea and a good line on what direction the market is going to go. So I would suggest that you follow him. And if you don't believe in the numbers that he's giving you, that's fine. But believe in the direction that he's giving you. Okay. So Coinbase having just absolutely crazy. Now, I've asked Grok right here, and let me give you exactly what I said. I said, a lot of people are saying that the crypto bull run is over and we just didn't get an altcoin season. Can you analyze sentiment and technicals and give me a percentage that the bull run is over versus the other option that is that we have not reached the peak yet? And he gives a sentiment analysis and reviews Twitter and reviews most social media and says 45% of posts are bearish. A vocal group argues the 2025 bull run has peaked and fizzled without a proper altcoin season. Common themes include broken technical trends, institutional profit taking, and cycle fatigue. One analyst declared Bitcoin bull market is over after losing the 50-week MA with 1,267 likes. Also on the bullish side, optimists counter that this is a mid-cycle shakeout. Key points: Bitcoin remains above historic support levels with zero froth. Bitcoin dominance consolidating high, and macro tailwinds like Fed quantitative tightening ending, rate cuts, and global stimulus from China and Japan. Posts like "the top is not in, liquidity is about to flow in a big way" garnered 1,600 likes. Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson stated, "We're only halfway through, with Bitcoin peaking first before alt rotation." Web Analysis supports this, noting Bitcoin at 91.3 amid optimism from rate cuts, with market in green and no final top signal. Alt's underperformance is seen as a setup for 50 to 100x gain once liquidity hits. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say the same thing. Most of these that are looking at it, they fundamentally understand that the market is still the market, that greed is still greed. And again, I'm not saying greed is good. I'm not Gordon Gekko. But I am going to tell you that if you think that greed suddenly disappeared from these markets, you are not thinking clearly, okay? Look, if you don't get trapped in for the big gains, we're not done yet. Okay. Now, technical analysis using Polygon data. Bitcoin closed at 90,840 on December 8th, down from a presumed 2025 peak of 120,000. It's below the 50-day SMA and 200-day SMA, signaling a short-term bearish trend. RSI is 55.7, neutral, not overbought or oversold, suggesting consolidation, not capitulation. Volume spikes and volatility align with a correction, but it's holding above 86K support, a key bull defense line. No parabolic blow off top yet. Ethereum at 3131 above its 20-day SMA, the ETH Bitcoin ratio is 0.0345, indicating alts are lagging but not collapsing. Room for rotation if Bitcoin stabilizes. Broader market cap hasn't hit new highs per sentiment, confirming no full alt season. In the macro overlay, global liquidity is expanding. Let's see. This favors risk assets long-term, but near-term uncertainty points to volatility. And then synthesizing sentiment, technicals, and web insights. There's a 35% chance that the bull run is over, peaked in 2025, entering a bear without an altcoin season, but a 65% chance we haven't reached the peak yet. This isn't a coin flip. Liquidity tailwinds and lack of euphoria tip towards continuation, but a break below 86,000 could flip it to 60-40 over. Okay, so we are watching this, and there is a possibility. We're not out of the woods yet. However, up until this point, things are looking still bullish long term. There are structures that we have not broken. Now, not everybody is feeling that because Peter Brandt hints at a further downside for Bitcoin after a brief rebound. Now, before we get into that, let's get in chat and see what is going on. We got Lupin69 with the $5 bomb. Say, the Bears still suck. My Packers smashed them again. By the way, guys, if you have not, I do have a Bears cast channel, and I got a bunch of views last night off of my Caleb Williams sucks videos. I cannot imagine being as bad at football. And I don't understand the delusion that people have with Caleb Williams. I'll be honest with you. Like, it escapes me how people are excited about Caleb Williams when all I see is mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake after a mistake after another mistake. Because he makes because he avoids a sack every once in a while, and because he runs for a few first downs. I mean, the guy was 6 of 24 in the first half of a game. He's the worst, in terms of accuracy, the worst quarterback in the NFL. Guys, the worst quarterback in the NFL. One of the things that is very difficult to teach people, they either have it or they don't, is accuracy. Okay? So everything that Caleb Williams can do, fine. But everything that he can't do is getting exacerbated by a Chicago Bears team that's actually really, really playing well right now, that has resilience, that has grit, that has determination. And look, every game can't end in the fourth quarter on a very close game. That's not how you win in the NFL. That's how you survive in the NFL while you learn how to win as a team. And the Bears are learning how to win as a team. But the quarterback is now the stopgap right there, preventing them from moving forward. All I'm saying is this. To me, it is and has been Tyson Bagent time. And I'm not saying that Tyson Bagent is a better option, by the way, than Caleb Williams. What I'm saying is that he's better than Caleb Williams, period. And that he's going to be better at the Ben Johnson system than Caleb Williams is, and that the Bears would move the ball better with Tyson Bagent versus what they're doing with Caleb Williams right now. Will he take a few more sacks? Yeah, probably. Will he make a lot more passes? Oh, definitely. Arm strength, much improved. Like, guys, all I can say is this. Caleb Williams is not my guy, okay? Ugh. Oh, unbelievable. It's unbelievable how lame this thing ended yesterday. And by the way, like I don't care whether the Packers win or not. Like, it doesn't really matter to me. I would like to see the Bears win. I don't have any confidence in what Caleb Williams has been doing in the last little while. So, again, I don't want to talk bad about him because actually I do. Actually, I really do. I don't mind talking bad about him because I don't think he's doing a great job to begin with. So, whatever. Anyway, so let's get back into it. Thank you so much for tuning in. What do we have here? You need to do a face swap with a techno Viking while he's dancing down the street with your face on him. That would be pretty cool on the intro. You know, I thought about doing that. As a matter of fact, I have the original video. The problem, Roy, is the techno Viking video is so poor in quality because it was an SD video. Here you go. Look at this. It's absolutely blurred out. Even on good videos, like it's so blurred out. It is so impossible for any of that to happen. And God damn it, I do look like the tech. God damn it. Whatever. By the way, for those of you that don't know, Techno Viking, that was a gay pride festival. That's where that came from. That was a gay pride festival. Anyway, Peter Brandt, let's move on here. Peter Brandt indicated that this week's rebound above 90,000 was a relief rally. He stated that this might be all the retest of the broadening top that market participants will see. The veteran trader has earlier predicted that Bitcoin could drop to as low as 50,000 in this bear market. He is again in an X post. The veteran trader hinted at a further Bitcoin crash. This came as he stated that this week's rally may be all the retesting of the broadening top that the market will see of the flagship crypto. And he thinks that that is going to be maybe the end of it. The broadening top is a bearish pattern that indicates a potential trend reversal from an uptrend to a downtrend. As the veteran trader highlighted, Bitcoin had earlier this week rallied to as high as 94,000, providing optimism that a rally to the psychological 100,000 level was in the cards. However, the flagship crypto crashed below 90,000 yesterday, which again put the 80,000 level in focus. Brandt's accompanying chart highlighted 80,207 and 58,840 as two downside price targets to watch for Bitcoin. As CoinGate reported, he recently warned that the Bitcoin price could crash further below 58,000, potentially dropping into the mid 40,000 range. Crypto traders are currently betting on what price Bitcoin will hit before 2025 ends. Polymarket data has a 34% chance of it hitting 80,000, with a 61% chance of 95,000, and a 30% chance that it will reach the psychological 100,000 level. Now, guys, I want you to just look at the market right now and remember something. Polymarket has been right about everything. So what direction is the market participants? What are they saying? They're saying price going to go up. Now, if the market participants are saying that price is going to go up, then guess what? They're probably going to go up. Polymarket has been, by the way, 100% right on all of these guesses. Okay, just consider that. When you are doing this and the people are making the bets and the people are making all of the decisions here, when this is an open market and it's decentralized like Polymarket is, then guess what? The people know, and the people are saying it's going to go higher. Now, Michael Van de Poppe indicated the Bitcoin rise is likely to range between 92 and 85 until after the FOMC decision. The Fed is expected to make a 25 basis point hike. So we've got some differing opinions here. Michael Van de Poppe, he thinks it's going up. Peter Brandt thinks it's going down. Grok looks at all this data and says it's probably going to go up, and this is probably just a mid-cycle correction. Also, let's move on to Luna Classic. Now, guys, if you haven't, Terra Luna Classic had a massive rally. Guys, I'm going to show you this, by the way, just so you guys understand how deep this went, okay? Luna Classic price was up 77% on the day. Market cap went up to 400 million. This follows an incident with Binance Blockchain, and that was Ian Allison. For those of you that don't know who Ian Allison is, he is a reporter for CoinDesk, and let's do CoinDesk right here. And he goes into right here. He goes to the Bitcoin Dubai conference. And what is he doing? He is wearing a Terra Luna Classic t-shirt while he's on stage with MasterCard, with Visa. What an incredible moment. So that starts a little bit of a rally. And guess what happens? Duquan, we get news that Duquan is trying to get his sentence reduced, which was not huge news. But when you combine it with this popping up out of nowhere, that causes a crazy rally with Terra Luna Classic. Terra Luna Classic right now trading at 51.70, 51.71. A couple of short days ago, let's go here to 1 week. A week ago, it was trading at 28.13. So it went all the way up almost to 408. Went up to 4078.78. Over 400 million market cap, just having a massive explosive sort of move, right? And the volume, 172,000. When you look at the volume, it did $1 billion worth of volume over here a couple of days ago. So it went from nothing. It went from just absolutely doing about $10 million a day with USTC doing about $2 million a day to $1 billion. It went up 1,100% in trade volume in a very short period of time, which, by the way, led to massive amounts of burns that you're going to see with Binance. Now, Binance, to its credit, you're looking right there, Binance had $45 million in trade volume for the last 24 hours, but Binance had $500 million in trade volume not that long ago, like 3 days ago. It was trading at $500 million. $500 million is what it does over the course of a month right now. Again, we're talking about $10 million in trade volume per day, sometimes up to 15, but generally around that $10 million range. Now that over 30 days is about 300 million. So it had more in 1 day in trade volume, and it was multiple days, by the way, but it had more in 1 day than it has in an entire month, and that continued for a few days. Now, the volume, of course, coming down as we start to correct back to that downside, but we saw the power of Terra Luna Classic. And if you are looking for a position for Terra Luna Classic, I've been thinking that the market is about to correct to that downside. By the way, the U.S. market, like I told you guys, it is my opinion that the liquidity is made out of wiener because the U.S. market is really sucking it out. Whew. Way to go, USA, USA, USA. And by the way, this is exactly what the takers are going to do. U.S. market are takers. They're not makers at this point. So over the last 3 hours, what have we seen? We saw a massive move to the upside, totaling up to, what is this, 3.11 trillion. So we were up about $80 billion on the day since the U.S. market came online. They are sucking the liquidity out of the market. And listen, this is just a testament to what I want to say is very simple. When you're looking at details, when you're looking at stuff like this, when you're looking at what's going on, when you're checking these things out, then guess what you're seeing? Okay, what you're seeing is the markets are trying to pump and the US market is trying to keep it low. Why are they trying to keep it low? Market makers. The market makers are selling into every pump, trying to tire the market out, trying to create the dip so that they can continue to accumulate at lower levels. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you, and I hope you understand. Now, at some point, obviously that will break down. At some point, because of that sort of seedy, shady, scumbag behavior that the U.S. Market makers and U.S. institutions engage in, at some point, that seedy, shady behavior could cause a breakdown in the market. But I don't think that that's happening right now. I think what's happening right now is just a simple, let's zoom out here and let's look at the market from a pivot standpoint. And we had a pivot right here. We have a pivot right here on the hourly. Guess what? Came down into the range that we would expect it. And now it looks like it's ready for a reversal and another pump. So I think that they're just sucking liquidity out of the market. But at the end of the day, this is just a natural movement in the market. So zooming out here just a little bit and looking at the pivot that we had before, boom, 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 right there to right there. If you look at it from where we are at this point, we're doing, by the way, exactly what I told you is going to happen, right? Because we had the move up here. We had the move down into this range. What do we have? We had a move to the 236. You guys, this is like an old record at this point, I'm sure. 236. Now what are we doing? We're coming back down. Now we came to the 0.45. That is a bullish indicator of a continuation to the upside. But what we're looking for is we're looking for a breakdown a little bit more down into this range at 2.93 trillion. So we're looking for some escape velocity. and then we're looking for a big breakout. That's what the chart looks like is going to happen next. That's really how this appears to be playing out. Remember what I told you. You have your move. You have your full-on move. You have your move down into the golden zone. Then you have your retest up here at the 236. Then you have the breakdown a little bit further, and then you have the big test where you get the actual breakout. That is exactly what it looks like is happening on the charts right now. So I would suspect that we're probably going to see something like that. And we should also note that despite the fact that we're breaking down, despite the fact that on this daily it does look like we are having these breakdowns, it's this uptrend. Can we maintain this uptrend, and can we get back above volume nodes? And when we're looking at volume nodes, what volume node are we looking at the most right now? And it is right above us, right at 3.22, 3.24 trillion, and then all the way up to the top of this little cycle right here at 3.83 trillion. The question is, can we get that money attracted back into the market? And by the way, what we should be looking at is the total market and stablecoins. Stablecoins are down 0.2%. Total market cap up 0.2%. So the money's not escaping the market. The money is just going back into stable coins. Now, some profit taking along the way. There's always profit taking, but we're continuing to mint new big money on USDC, continuing to mint, Tether continuing to mint. Guess what? That means that we're going to have another big move. We're going to have another big move. I'm telling you right now. Now, the Dow Jones, by the way, down 112 points to start off the day, despite the fact that we're feeling pretty good. Now, where do we look? I would say that NVIDIA is a great one to start looking at. So NVIDIA, and we don't want to do that on PITH. We want to do that overall on NASDAQ, and we want to look at it. And look, we had the correction, $50 billion. Remember, $55 billion for NVIDIA. And then we had a dramatic sell-off when NVIDIA reported its earnings. We had a massive surge, and then all of a sudden, $55 billion was not enough to keep us bullish. That's insanity, okay? And that speaks to manipulation. But guess what's happening right now? If we just consider where we are, if we consider the bullish rally that's been going on, and then we look at this and we look at this, guess what? Higher highs coming across over here. And by the way, that is right there, and then that is right there. See that? Bullish divergence. So what you've got is you got this upward. Let me actually show you right here on the chart. You've got this bullish indicator right here of bullish momentum, and then you've got down here, you've got this area right here, and then you've got this area right here. And guess what? That's all down there. That is called a bullish divergence. That is not a bearish divergence. Here's what it means. It means that new buyers are continuing to step in, and the market is cooling off while it continues to go higher. NVIDIA is about to go so much higher. NVIDIA is AI. If AI is about to break out, then guess what? Crypto, still the future. So AI and crypto probably about to break out. And guess what? Tau up 5.5%, 6% on the day. Where's Near Protocol? Where's Near Protocol? Near Protocol up 4.5% on the day. Zcash up 17%, having a nice little breakout. ICP, no, ICP still not moving. That's a weird thing to see right there. And Fetch AI also not moving. So we're not in AI territory, but we're showing some strength with Tau. Tau, by the way, we are 6 days away from the Tau halving. BitTensor halving, for those of you that don't know, BitTensor has 21 million coins. And it works the same way that Bitcoin does, only it's way faster. It was built not that long ago, so but it uses the same paradigm, and that ultimately there will only ever be 21 million, and their first halving is December 14. So, guys, look, I'm telling you right now that Tau is going to be one of the big ones. Okay, it's a decentralized AI. And look, AI is the rage, right? So if you can have a decentralized version of Grok that won't lie to you and get programmed by Elon Musk. By the way, I fought with Grok the other day. I fought with Grok over the programming and stuff like that. And I told it, you used to tell me certain things. Now you tell me different things. What has changed in your programming? And it won't tell you, by the way. It won't tell you what changed in its programming. And then I kept asking it, and it argued with me. So it is weird, okay? But I believe that Grok is now being manipulated because it's not giving the answers that Elon wants it to give. So he's changing the way the answers go, which is alarming. But anyway, back to Near Protocol real quick. Look at that. I mean, there's going to be a crazy breakout here. Just kind of looking around at some of these. Near Protocol has a huge, I mean, it's trading at what, $1.75? But in the last bull market, at the end of the last bull market, actually, it was past the last bull market, it continued to surge up to $20. So it was like 10 times higher than it is right now. That kind of capital has not rotated back into the market. I mean, look at the structure of what we're doing right here. Nothing has happened the way that we've expected it to happen. And if we're not increasing value, if we're not, was this a bubble? I don't think so, because there's more money in the market now. So we're still going, by the way. That's all I'm going to say to that. So anyway, Terra Luna Classic price breaking out. The SEC Crypto Task Force has set a December 15 deadline for privacy roundtable after a previous delay. That was because of the government shutdown. So because that happened, we now have our crypto roundtable on December 15. So, and by the way, if you have something that you think is important, send it to your congressman. Let them know what they need to know. Send it to Brad Garlinghouse, who's going to be on the roundtable. These guys, this cryptocurrency privacy roundtable can influence further discussions at the beginning of 2026. Now, by the way, what does that mean? Zcash probably going to break out. Let's keep moving on because we're getting behind on the time. I apologize, guys. I know I'm getting a little wordy today, but ProShares drops a 3x Bitcoin Ethereum XRP ETF plan after SEC pushback. Now, it's bad enough that we already have a leveraged 2x ETF. They're trying to pull out a 3x ETF, which is absolutely insane, guys. This would have offered 3x daily exposure to Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, Solana, and major stocks. Now, the firm suspended its filing after the top U.S. regulator raised concerns on whether the product reflected the extreme volatility of the underlying assets. Guys, this would just create more volatility on Bitcoin. Could it reach more upside? Sure. But most likely, the easiest way to stab people is right when they're not looking, and that is when you short the market. So this would create enormous amounts of sell pressure from people trying to short the market because these people are going into ETF leveraged positions, which means that they're going to be locked in there. And here's the thing. They're not people that are putting stop orders on. They're people that are just buying an ETF. You want to give me $100,000? I'm going to give you 3 times that amount in Bitcoin for you to hold. And then guess what? And then they wreck the market and those people get liquidated. That is not solid investing. That is risk-based investing. And that's gambling. Okay, so what the SEC did was they walked in here and they stopped the gambling. And that is a great thing to see. I don't know how you feel about it. If you like that, then let me know in the comment section. But I absolutely do not like these leverage positions like this. I think that they are bad for they are bad for all of crypto. And all it does is it continues to push the leverage narrative, which is what's killing the market, by the way. And finally, why are Tau, Zcash, and CRV prices up today? So BitTensor prices trading at $300, up 6%. The upsurge is coming after resistance at 290. This is caused by the impending halving protocol. This halving will cut daily reward emissions in half, similar to Bitcoin's scarcity model. The price trend has triggered the bullish mood as the network is gearing up to its initial halving, and investors anticipate the possibility of a BitTensor price increase towards the recent trend. Now, we're not seeing it trend in the best direction. Like I think that rally zone right there that I was talking about before still has to get pegged right there. So we need to see some upside momentum. But when we break this down, you can see here I gave you that line right there at $304. That we got to break above that. We got to get a little bit of support, and we're not getting that support yet. We're not getting that move above. That break keeps coming up above it, but we're not providing support. Now, if you're looking to take a position on Tau, if you want to go long term, right now would be a great time to accumulate because it's under $300. Great time for accumulation. But if you're going to use a leverage position, if that's what you're looking for, let it come up here, let it come to around 330, 340, and let it break back down into this range. What we're looking for is we're looking for this move right here. And if you notice right there, I put it to the 200 MA. If I put the Fibonacci to the 200 MA, then it makes sense what I'm saying in this regard. So maybe it's a little more than 330. I'm sorry, 350, 360, and then a breakdown back here to 304. So if it breaks above and you get to maybe 320 or 330 right here, set yourself a buy order at 304, hoping that it comes back down into this range, which is right there in that golden zone, and then look for it to have a recovery rally. So what I would be looking for would be a move into a pretty quick move, by the way. Wham, you get that big move, then you get this correction back down, you get in at 304, bam, it goes back up to the 236 right there. Guys, it's easy money, in my opinion. But that is easy money right there. So 304, after it breaks above, and we start to get a little bit near this 330, 335 range, I'd like to see 360. But if that's the case, set a buy at 304, and you should be good to go. But having a breakout because of the halving, Zcash in the last 24 hours, it's up 7%. It's up 17% right now. It was currently trading at 351 when this article was done. It's trading right now 397, breaking back out. Remember, privacy, December 15, 8 days from now, the privacy, all of the stuff with the SEC, they're sitting down for a privacy roundtable. Zcash is going to be a big part of that. Not the creators of Zcash, I would assume, but the idea and the premise behind secrecy and privacy in crypto and the government, Big Brother not tracking everything that you do, is pretty important. So I would imagine that we're going to see Zcash continue a nice little run. And by the way, BitGet is now listing Zcash. So all of these things are opening up because the U.S. government is opening up. So that's pretty nice. So, and then Curve. The Curve DAO token has gained 8% in the last 24 hours. Use of the token in big liquidity pools is guaranteed to increase significant. This is more liquidity and involvement in stablecoin pools is why it's pumping, which is great. That's exactly what you want to see. Market activity has been stable. Trade volumes are more consistent following the stint of fluctuation. So what's next for those? Look, we'll talk about Tau. We may not talk too much about Zcash or Curve DAO, or maybe we will over the next couple days. But let's keep going here. Crypto's other halving, BitTensor's first 4-year cycle, seen as a maturation milestone. This is coming from TradingView. With Bitcoin now in its 4th quadrennial halving, other decentralized projects have adopted similar supply cycle cuts. BitTensor is approaching its first since launching in 2021. Now, guys, what I would say to you is this. I'm not promising you that BitTensor is going to be anything fantastic, great, amazing, unbelievable. I think that it is. I think that it's worth 100 to 200 billion market cap in my estimation, okay? And that's about a 30 to 60x away from where it currently is. It would make sense for you to get in on the mining aspect and start to earn yourself some BitTensor. Now, if you get in now, you're only going to earn half as much as you would or would have so far in that cycle. But they're still, remember, people are still mining Bitcoin. It's still profitable to mine. So it would be my estimation that it's going to be incredibly profitable over the next 8 years or so to continue to mine BitTensor. BitTensor is a decentralized open-source machine learning network built around specialized subnets that incentivize marketplaces for AI service. It's expected to undergo its inaugural halving on or around December 14. At that point, issuance of its native token will drop to 3,600 per day from the current 7,200 per day. Grayscale research analyst William Ogden Moore calls the event a key milestone in the maturation progress. And by the way, what was the move after the first halving for Bitcoin? That's where we go back and we look at it. And we don't look at the price. We look at the percentage. Like what is the percentage that we can get off of that, crazy ass move? Let's go back to the beginning here. Whoops. So we had the launch right? We had the launch back here of Bitcoin, and then somewhere we got that halving, we got that first cycle right there. And then what kind of percentage did we get in that first big cycle? So we launched over here. First cycle was right in this range right here. What is it from here to here? 20x. So we got a 20x in the first Bitcoin cycle early. This is the early. It's the first halving cycle. We get a 20x leading into that. Then after that 20x, another 15x within a year. Okay? And I'm not saying that it's going to do the same thing, but these things do rhyme. So it would be my estimation that you should be accumulating as much BitTensor as you can for the long term. Okay. Digital asset investors. Cointelegraph reported BitTensor in May during a conversation with DNA fund Chris Miglino, whose AI compute fund is heavily involved in the ecosystem. The biggest thing that we're working on in the whole ecosystem is our AI compute fund, where we've entrenched into the Tau ecosystem. Grayscale describes BitTensor subnet as a kind of Y Combinator for decentralized AI networks, since each operates like a startup building a specialized product or service. CoinGecko currently lists over 100 BitTensor subnets with a combined market cap exceeding 850 million. Tau Stats, which tracks the ecosystem more comprehensively, showed 129 subnets with a total market cap closer to $3 billion. Okay, this is a huge ecosystem in crypto, and in fact, when you look at it from overall market cap, you've got right there, number 32, the number 32 overall crypto, the number one AI crypto. BitTensor is a force to be reckoned with in cryptocurrency. It only takes one big moment, in time, and this thing will easily 10x from where it is right now to a $30 million market cap and just end up in the top 10. The one thing that we're not taking into account, in my estimation, or a lot of people are not taking into account, is how important AI is. And if this is the number one AI, it's gonna be a top 10 crypto. Top 10 cryptos right now go into about 15 billion market cap. So even if we scale back and say 10x might not be doable to get into the top 10, we only need a 5x. A 5x on BitTensor would be a nice run. So start thinking about NVIDIA, start thinking about Fetch AI, start thinking about all of these different protocols, Near Protocol, ICP. There's a huge upside. The markets might correct. We might have to deal with something. There are potential issues, concerns, and problems. There could be, but at the end of the day, BitTensor is the number one AI protocol and is probably going to absolutely explode in value. Okay, I'm guessing on that. I don't know for sure, but it seems to me that it is preordained. Also, the elephant in the room. There have now been 1.2 million jobs cut announced in 2025, and 60% of Americans say we are in a recession. Yet the S&P has added 17 trillion since April, nearing its 29th record high of 2025. What is happening? Let us explain. Now, U.S. layoffs currently set to match levels seen in the 2008 financial crisis. U.S. employers have announced 1.1 million job cuts in 2025, second highest total in 16 years. I thought Trump was going to get us a bunch of jobs. In November, U.S. employees announced 71,000 job cuts. This is the third highest monthly total ever recorded, and it's impacting all demographics. Unemployed Americans with four-year college degrees now make up 25% of total unemployment. The percentage has doubled since the 2008 crisis and is above 2020 levels. The U.S. labor market is weakening across education levels. This explains why surveys show that the majority of Americans think we are in a recession. 68% of those surveyed say inflation and rising costs of living tops the list of reasons why they believe we are in a recession. 50% say family members are complaining about money. People are complaining about money. You've probably heard it. You've probably experienced it, where people do not have money and they're being gouged by the United States economy. The data says otherwise, though. There is currently just a 33% chance that the U.S. economy enters a recession by 2027 per Polymarket. And like I said, Polymarket is generally right. So 66% of people are saying that there's no chance. Odds are down 11% since October 25 at their lowest level. The data says we are not in or near a recession. Meanwhile, the S&P is seeing one of its best runs in history. The market just posted its 635% rally in 6 months over the last 30 years. While Wall Street sees historic gains, most Americans think the stock market is down. So why is there such a massive disconnect? Data shows that U.S. GDP grew by 3.8% year over year and 1.6% in the first half, far above contraction territory. However, 63% of that growth came from AI-related spending. It's all about AI. In other words, without AI spending, the economy is running far weaker. This chart says it all. Spending on data centers on the U.S. has tripled since the release of ChatGPT in November of 2022. Spending on structures, excluding data centers, is down 20% since that 2023 high. The strength of technology companies has created two economies in the U.S. This is why we see another Fed rate cut this week, their third cut in 2025. American consumers are struggling from a rapidly declining labor market, yet the largest U.S. companies are thriving as AI explodes, and rate cuts are going to add fuel to the fire, all as inflation runs at 3%. We see more record highs ahead of for the S&P because the biggest companies don't need rate cuts, but consumers do, and they are coming. The top 10% of U.S. stocks now account for a record 76% of the U.S. market. So we're about to see some relief for Americans. We're about to see, again, people have a little bit more money in their pocket. When they have a little bit more money in their pocket, what do? They spend a little bit more. When they spend a little bit more, what happens? The American companies make more profit, and then everybody gets happy and the stock markets start to pump. And if that happens and people are feeling good, then they can start putting money back into crypto. The crypto bull market is not over. Do you see it yet? Are you still convinced it's a bear market? Are you not paying attention to anything? And by the way, Kobayashi, as rate cuts continue into stagflation, we see more nominal appreciation in assets across the board. The only way to hedge against the broadening wealth gap is to own assets. Own assets or be left behind. We are not in a bear market. Everybody with a brain is telling you that we are not done yet, that this is not a cycled top. Everybody who continues to think, well, the 4-year cycle had to be a 4-year cycle because it's 4. Because if it were 5, then it wouldn't be a 5. It wouldn't be a 4. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, if it is a 4, there's a 5. Okay, so if it's not a 5, if it's not a 4, then it's a 5, and a 5 is not a 4. Do you see what I'm saying? Because that means it is over. Okay, that's what's going on. So we're going to get another blow off. We're going to get an altcoin season. It's getting ready to happen. Now, if you haven't already, sign up at terracasino.io. Again, we want to give away some money on terracasino.io. I'm going to do that any day now. Terraport.finance, by the way, the #1 DEX in all of Terra Luna Classic. In fact, by a staggering margin of over 50% right now. Volume still trickling down, was over $100,000 just recently, having just a nice little run. But we still need to have zero tax on Terra Luna Classic before anything really positive can happen. We need to get rid of the burn tax, because right now it's just costing too much. It's just costing too much. And by the way, there's no euphoria in the market as well, because my project here, TerraPump.fun, we have $20,000 in volume for the month, more than anybody else's, but still, we need to see a lot more volume. That's not going to come when people are getting penalized for owning Terra Luna Classic if you trade it anywhere. So we'll see what happens there. Now, for Dev has not made a post in 3 days, so right now it's just conversation. Hopefully something happens there. Crypto bubbles. We got the nooner bubbles. And so we got Pulse X up 39% on the day. That's crazy. That's crazy. Zcash up 18%. CC is up 17%. Shout out CC. Hash up 14%. Tau's up 6%. Pepe's up 10%. Not really anything that we really want to see breaking out. So, again, this is all Bitcoin's market here. So we need to see Bitcoin have that big run. So, when we see that happen, that'll be great. Stable is down 25%. SOD down 30%. Jasmy up 9%. Just movements around. Nothing really stands out here. In the 200 to 300 category, again, nothing really standing out except Pulse Hex, still up 20% again. Look, and if you buy the bottom of Hex, cool. You might get something out of it, but otherwise, I just, I don't know. Fear and greed index is down to 20 again. We're back into extreme fear. Guys, I want to point something out. We're back into extreme fear with the market at 3.05 trillion market cap, okay? I just want you to just let that sink in for a moment, okay? Just think about that. We're in extreme fear at an right near the all-time high and higher than the previous top of the last market. We're higher and we're scared, okay? I think you're going to be all right. I think it'll be all right. Okay. Oh, by the way, Dev E, look at this. Dev is actually up 5% on the day, having a nice little, well, let's not call it significant, but it's having a nice little rally. We're going to remove a little bit of some of that data right there. Where can we expect it to go? I would look for Dev to run into the 45-cent range, right into this sort of range right there. So we're looking for a break above, by the way, and we're not seeing the break above. We got that break a couple days ago, didn't sustain itself, went right back in, but that was a test. And by the way, what happens here? I want to, let me take a second here and just explain to you guys, just in case you guys, when you see a pump like this, when you see this move, we had this crazy dip, right? Then the market says, wait a minute, price is way too low. And people start to buy. People start to buy, and then boom, 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 boom. Price starts to surge. Price surges up here to around 45, 50 cents, right? Well, then that means that the sellers step in, and it's all the sellers that are accumulating right in this range right here, right at the top of this range right here. All those people are getting their money out and they're getting made whole. Okay. So what you saw was basically a liquidity sweep where people who were looking to become buyers stepped in, and then the people who had accumulated over here that don't think that it's going to pump are now selling into the pump. So then you had the breakdown, right? But that breakdown, what did it do? And it didn't do what I always tell you is going to happen. Let's go right there. We didn't get a move back up to the 236. So I suspect that we're going to see a move to 236. 236 right now checks in at around 44, 45 cents, which is where I just told you I think we're going to go, right at that little white line. So I suspect that we're going to see a rally on Dev coming up, a natural rally, not an announcement that something is happening rally, just a regular standard sort of rally off of, whatever happens. Also, if you reverse it and you use the fib as a reversal, then you go into that golden zone. You get into that 786. That 786, where is the 786 on the reversal? At 45 cents. So I'm telling you right now, I think that Dev is headed to 45 cents. So if you haven't already, look for that to happen over the next little while. Let's clear that off. So I think Dev is going to break out to about 45 cents. So I would be watching for that move to happen very, very soon. Let's get back into chat here. Boom, 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 boom. Will Turbo hit 20 cents? Oh, God, no. I don't think so. I mean, look, I don't know. I don't think that that's possible, okay? Okay. I don't think that that's possible. Let me go down this list here. Hit the like button. Thank you so much. I think January, February, March is the time frame. What's going on with December? Dips going on. 20. I think again 95, 97,000 maybe. Quarter 4, 2026 is someone else I follow believes it will take off then. It seems too long. That seems way too long away. XRP to $100 by the end of 2026. I don't think so. I think $25 is going to be the top of that. Derek Hines says Tau is the Bitcoin of AI. It absolutely is. It's the #1 AI. They are definitely bad for the market. Want more Plume waiting on Coinbase listing. Believes you lost weight. I've lost 130 pounds. Yeah. Derek says, believes, what is that weird waste burner stuff you were using or talking about? Tesamorelin. 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 Derek Hines says, how do you mine Tau? There we go. All mining in BitTensor occurs within a subnet. Each subnet independently produces the digital commodities that are its purpose. Each subnet creator defines a different incentive mechanism for validators to use in judging mining work. Okay, so what happens is you buy some BitTensor, you put it into your wallet, then you join a subnet, and then you become a validator in that subnet. You just automatically stake your Tau rewards. Once you've automatically staked your TAL rewards, you start securing the network and you start earning. I'm using Bitcast for mine right now, and my Alpha Cast is currently trading at, hold on, I'll tell you, $3.32 per. So, well, there's my earnings, by the way. I've earned $1,500 in the last like 2 months on Bitcast. So, yeah, all you have to do is put it into like a Crucible wallet or the Talisman wallet. I've got 3 different BitTensor wallets. I've got Crucible, which I have not activated yet, but I'm going to make that my main wallet. I've got Talisman over here, and then I've got the Tensor. I think it's called Tensor or BitTensor wallet. What is it? Yeah, BitTensor wallet. And like I don't think that's it's not very good, but you can easily stake everything. All right, so fear and greed at 20. We already talked about that. Liquidity, we're going to skip that for today because we're about to get out of here. Inflows on the ETFs on Friday, despite the market saying, oh no, oh no. Inflows, no, on Ethereum. We're still seeing outflows over there, tremendous, bigly outflows. XRP ETF still surging, still getting a lot of inflow there. Solana had another big day. After a tremendous amount of outflow in one day, we're still getting a lot of green days. It's up 217 million right now on Solana. So, guys, I think that, ultimately we are still in the throes of a very bullish period in the market right now. The question right now is, can we survive the catastrophic losers that are the American institutional investors who are trying to steal from you and suck out the liquidity? And I mean, there's not much that you can do about it. There's just not much you can do about it, Morgan says you should, Derek says, anyone that lives in a city doesn't have money. We have to support Mexico. Morgan says you should do a step-by-step learning video on how to do this. How to do what? Which part are you looking to learn how to do? Morgan, I'm still figuring out, by the way, how to do, like, son of a bitch. There we go. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how I do all this kind of stuff. I'm having that chat up there. Like, by the way, I can do it up here. Shit, can't do it over here. Gotta do it there. There we go. Oh, staking. Okay, yeah. You know what? We'll have a video out on that tomorrow. It won't be today because well, it won't be today. But tomorrow, I will show you guys how to stake with BitTensor. I'll have to set up the Crucible wallet because actually the Crucible wallet is native to staking and it's very, very easy. It's not even like you know what? Actually, you know what? Let me show you. Let me show you this. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna show you how easy it is. Okay. So you have a couple TAO in a wallet, right? You go right here to staking, click on staking, and then just choose where you want to stake. Like, again, you go into your, right now it's a Talisman wallet, okay? You click on the Talisman wallet, and then right here is a staking option, which is the one right, oh shit, which is right there. And after you click on that, then this gives you all of the different ones. Now, what'll happen is your TAO will get converted into whatever it'll get converted into whatever they have. So you're gonna go into BitTensor right here, and you're gonna click on right there, delegation subnet stake. You're gonna go either to BitTensor right there to validate the network, or you're going to go into dynamic TAO, which is subnet staking, and you can click on that, and then you can decide which subnet that you want, and all of the subnets are right here, and it will tell you how much they have, how much they're doing, and you'll get all the data right there. And then you just look for a good rate. The estimated return on BitTensor right there, 7.97%. Dynamic tau is variable based upon based upon whatever factors it is. But then you can just stake the whole thing, and boom, that's it. That's all you have to do. It's so simple. Just go into the wallet. The wallet does it for you. It's just like Lunk, where you can just walk into it and just hit the staking button, and then just choose whoever you want to stake with, and then it's done. You know, you just you don't have to wait 21 days to unstake on Tau like you do on Luna Classic. It's immediate, or it's 3 days or something like that. Maybe 2 days. Yeah, might be 2 days. So bear in mind that in the event that you want to cash anything out, it's going to take it'll be a 2-day unstaking period, 48 hours, I think, maybe 72. So don't hold me to that. Again, we'll do the video tomorrow, but it is very, very easy to do. All right, to get in there, most of the wallets are native and equipped with it. Also, the market is starting to reverse back up again after going negative as the U.S. market slurp, 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 slurp. But it's bouncing off of the 50 and the 200, so that should be, we got a golden cross right there, and we're bleeding into a golden cross, which I suspect means we're going to have another high coming up very, very soon. Again, maybe see Bitcoin run up over 91,400. We just got to close above it, and we got to use it as a strong bounce. We got to get that 96, 97,000. Then we got to correct back down to 91.4, and then the rally is going to be on. The longer it takes for us to get to that range where that happens, the worse off we're going to be. You see what happens over here on the hourly. We broke above, looking really, really good, dunked absolutely below, and it comes out of the range. Remember I told you I thought this would probably be a great trading range right here if we could stay in that range. It's not working out that way so far. It just keeps breaking down below. So you know, maybe that range is a little bit, maybe I'm too tight on that range. Maybe it's, you know, like maybe we can say right about there is the range. Something like that. Maybe we broaden it just a tiny bit there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right somewhere in that range. Anyway, this is a pretty good range. Now you're at the bottom of it right now, so I would expect an upside move coming pretty soon. I don't know if it breaks down below, but you know, I think we're going to have a rally up here to around 94,000 very, very soon. All right, so that's it, guys. That's the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's not financial advice. I'm always right. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Make sure you hit the like button. And by the way, remember, the one thing that you can do, if you want to help me and you're watching this, share me with as many people as you possibly can, because I need more subscribers. I need more people watching the video, stuff like that, to make it worth doing, number one. And number two, it helps. It helps tremendously that you support me. And one of the final things that you can do is, I'm going to go now, but if you leave a comment on the video down below, if we got 40, 50 people watching, leave 40 or 50 comments down below. Let the YouTube algorithm know that we're having a conversation. If we let them know we're having a conversation, then they will let everybody else know that we're having a conversation, and then more people will watch. All right. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again.